ready?
Dudes, I believe so. So, you want to do the Wayne's World thing? In
What Wayne's World thing?
4. Okay, now we're actually doing the show. It's Ryan and Rizzo. Hi. We're really good at intros.
Yeah.
This is what is this episode? Yeah, this is
2.
the official episode 2.
Technically, it's 3.
Technically,
but Ryan
3.
Ryan counts starting at 0, so I guess we're at 2.
That one was more of a kind of let's make sure everything works. I mean, we're still doing that because what do we just do? 30 minutes worth of like, okay, well, push this button on your end, and I'll push button this in. So, tech stuff.
That's all right.
Props to your engineer husband.
Yes, the headless engineer comes through once again.
Ooh, that'll be a great thing for Halloween.
Yeah, that's his name. That's what I'll be referring
The headless engineer.
him to. I haven't quite figured out what the little one will be called yet, but we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was good. Everyone's been saying this, it feels like, but it flew by. My boss often says, like, I can't believe it's July already, or I can't believe it's whatever month already. I'm like, well, This year, do we really want it to kind of lag behind? So.
Nope.
Yeah, but pretty good. So.
Nice.
Work and a little bit of play here and there. Typical life.
That's good. You got to mix in the work with the play, or else it's, what is it? All work and no play makes
Jack go insane.
Something.
Homer.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson gets really mad.
Go crazy. Right?
That was a good one. Treehouse of Horrors are really good.
That's right.
Props to, I think it's FX that does it, but they actually started, it's Halloween. We're going to play all the Treehouse of Horror episodes back to back for you during the Halloween season.
Genius.
Yeah. More people should do that because it's like, hey, could you, we kind of want to watch Halloween stuff.
Yes.
Can you play Halloween stuff? But they pop up in December.
Since technically, yeah, that's okay. There's no wrong time for a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
True.
And speaking of that, with the Plus, we were talking about all the things last week, Hamilton and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That is on the Plus, so always fun.
Ooh,
just catch that sometime.
That'll be nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
I'm just slowly but surely, if y'all can't tell, I'm trying to get Ryan and the missus into just snagging it and just having it at all times.
We will get it when there's more stuff on there. Because we had it for 7 days and we watched the crap out of it. And we don't have a little one.
Speaking of getting things, did you receive the package I sent you?
Nay, I have not yet.
Dang it. I was hoping that you would get it by today. But
was it a box of tea?
There's something on the way for you. You'll see what it is.
Yay.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
It's good. Don't worry. It's not like a severed head or anything like that.
That I would not look forward to.
No. Me neither. That would be an absolute disaster to try to package and ship anyways. So, any hazardous materials in the box?
There is a severed head. It may be toxic based, but I'm not quite sure.
No, not really.
I mean,
anyway, that'll be $29.12. All right, thanks. Bye.
Is this bad? I can't tell. I'm trying to get my actual show notes up.
Okay.
All right. So other than severed heads, what you been?
It really doesn't take too long to get to that point. It's great. Usually takes a good 20, 30 minutes, but it took us a whopping 3 minutes to get there this time.
To severed heads? Yeah.
I like your cat shirt,
by
the way.
You were fawning about it because you were wearing a Freddie Mercury shirt?
As a matter of fact, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
And apparently he was a cat person.
Oh, yes. Completely a cat person.
I need to watch Bohemian Rhapsody. I still have yet to do so.
Yes, there are a number of shots of him either with his cats, or one of my favorite scenes of the movie is where he's in concert. I think it's at Live Aid at the very end of the movie, and he had done either it was either Bohemian Rhapsody or Radio Gaga, and then you see one of his cats purring at the TV, just like watching him sing. It was great.
That's funny. Oh
yeah, it's excellent.
We didn't
even call each other, guys.
Mm-mm.
We just knew.
I just woke up today and said, cat shirt.
And I knew that I was going to be wearing Freddie today, so there you go.
It just happens. It's Friday, or it's not Friday,
I do Freddie Day.
Freddie Day.
No, I wear Freddie all the time because I have a of him, but that's for another time and another story. You knew that, didn't you?
I think you told me, but I since we don't see each other, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
I'm
it's one of
still-
those things where I'm late to the party, but I'm glad I'm here because I didn't get my first tattoo until I was, let's see, 34.
Nice. I'm almost
So-
40 and I'm still debating it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of pale skin to work with here. I mean, need a
I mean,
little
you
bit
know,
of color on here.
You don't, that's what tattoos are for.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have the skin, the skin and the pigment of the skin, and you just get the color and just put it out there. So you're always colored, no matter how pasty and white you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Get,
So-
get a little something going on for me.
Exactly.
Speaking of goings on, because this one's really important, tomorrow, the 13th of July, is Friday. National Friday.
It's Monday.
Yes, Monday will be National Friday, as in French Friday.
Oh.
I don't know why that's important, but I had it on the calendar at work, and I drew a picture of Fry from Futurama, and then I plan on having some sort of French fries tomorrow. But
Okay.
yeah,
Be interested to find out where they come from. Maybe I'll have to figure out where the best fries in the queue are and go ahead and take a look there.
See, I'm cheating. I'm just. Oh, that would be a good idea. I just have some in the freezer that I'm gonna put on the grill probably and cook up.
Okay. And that would be a good idea. I like that. So
I don't know. I'm trying to think who has good fries. Oh, there's a few places that have some good fries. Five Guys has good fries here locally.
Yes, they do. We have Five Guys here as well, and they're pretty tasty.
Tasty Cajun fries.
The little tiny ones.
Wingstop, they've got some
Oh
really
no,
tasty.
Five Guys. I'm thinking Freddy's. Freddy's
Is good too. Freddy's, they're okay, but it's that fry sauce that really just knocks it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially the spicy one's really, really good. I like there's a local place here called Blake's. Did you ever eat there?
I don't think so.
They have really, really good seasoned fries.
Nice. And I think the loaded fries at the Golden Light here in the Big A town. Even though we're both in Big A towns.
Downtown, right?
Yeah.
Golden Light, yeah.
In
The
Yellow
cantina.
City, Route 66, yeah.
Yep.
Great
Yeah, I remember-
burgers, really good fries. They're loaded fries. Those are
I
heavenly.
remember heading down there a few times during college and after that.
Still tasty, still delicious.
Yep.
I don't know who comes up with these national days anyway, because let's see. I think, what was it? You looked it up. It was the 10th was National Kitten Day. July
Every
8th.
day is
yeah.
National Kitten Day. Okay.
True. As the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. All my
then-
co-hosts left. Okay.
Yeah. Snarf.
Yeah.
And then I think July 8th was National Video Game Day. Again.
Also,
again, yeah, it's like, all right, let's celebrate.
in the houses of Rizzo and Ryan, every day is National Video Game Day.
Yeah. Yes.
That's okay.
Those.
So may I touch back upon the Kitten Day, if you don't mind, and reflect back onto the days of yore for our episode last week, because we talked about the the fireworks in the sky and the fireworks from my cat's gastrointestinal system. Yes.
Yes.
And so backpedal just a smidge that I have, my little one around the house who loves her Uncle Ryron. She's always called him that because
Ryron.
when she was, I don't know, 2 around there, she couldn't say Ryan. So it was always Ryron. And so that just kind of stuck, which I sort of love. And she loves to see him before and, make sure, our levels are good and making sure the video looks right. And she has to, talk to Uncle Ryron, before and after. And right after we got done with the show last week, she, runs down the stairs and comes over and instantaneously steps in the cat puke that I hadn't gotten to because I was still sitting and finishing up the recording from last week. So,
I mean, that was a gift. That was a gift from your cat to the wee one.
Daisy, yeah.
Daisy. Yeah. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, I know my little miss will be running through here. I'm going to give her something to know that Daisy says hello.
And, and here's the thing, like for some of the, the parental type people of children and or pets out there, why is it, and this is an honest to goodness question, why is it that, there can be an entire space of living room or whatever it is to step anywhere and there's like a microscopic spot of puke, and inevitably that's what gets stepped in or stepped on or walked through. Honestly, I mean, I'm just dumbfounded that happens on a daily basis.
Quantum entanglement, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. And
I mean,
it
for
was
my
just like,
household, because I mean, no kids, but fur beast.
yes, yeah,
It's
for babies.
we have uh, hardwood floors throughout the house, but the places where the cat vomits or hairballs or whatever, it's
Hmm.
on the carpeted areas.
Yeah, the like one spot. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2
Hmm.
square foot rug over in this area. So
Yes.
again, they're just gifts because they're all douchebags.
I mean, like, and the thing is it wasn't even really in her like walking like path to where she would walk down the stairs across the living room and over to the computer system where I was, and it wasn't even in her path. And all of a sudden, she's just like screeching at me, about things in, on, and around her, heels and toes and stuff. So
That
that's
actually
always fun.
reminds me of a very old memory when I was a child. I think pre-K,
Hmm.
first grade. But I was talking to my brother in my brother's room. He came into his room and he kind of just put his arms and elbows up on his bed and was just kind of propping himself up on his toes behind him on the floor for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Hmm.
And then, but he just kind of realized that he was gradually sliding back, oh so slowly, and it was the dog that had been in there and
Oh
had
no.
left him a number 2 gift, and it was just smearing,
Oh,
so,
gross.
and just underneath his sock, and just, yeah. I don't remember the
Gross.
outcome of that. I just remember it was like, oh, I'm literally stepping in it, aren't I? I'm like, think so.
Gross.
Yeah. Animals.
So it was so he had his arms on the thing, but he had stepped in the poop, and that's
Yeah,
what was sliding him back.
he was like leaning on the bed with his elbows,
Gross.
but his toes were not braced.
Yeah.
Just,
And
yeah,
it just kind of slips
just
through,
kind of
and then
sliding slowly, and he was just like, you could, the realization hitting is like, I know exactly what's happening. I'm just sort of frozen in place here.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. All right,
It's
enough
a
of.
gift.
I do have plenty more feces stories where that came from, and all of those.
No,
But
no,
we
no.
probably should move along to
We'll
something
leave that for National Feces Day.
cool, which I'm sure there probably is one. Apparently, if there's,
Ah,
we'll figure it out for you guys because I know you're definitely
Lovely.
interested in finding out when that is.
lovely. Okay, so what do you want to attack? Oh, so let's talk about how you were nominated or selected, or someone tagged you in a Facebook post and you are
It's an honor just to be
being.
nominated, folks.
Yeah, it is. So this was what your top 20 albums is what it's supposed to be.
Yes, the whole point behind it is it's the 10-day challenge, the albums that shaped your musical taste or whatever it might be. And like I said, I very seldom am a rule follower. I just kind of, you know, do whatever. So, and I'm also obsessed with music. So I picked 20, so I figured 2 a day would be fine.
Okay.
And I finally compiled them with details of, why they're important to me and that sort of thing so that I could share them with Ryan because I know you're very interested in
I
them.
am. So if I pick a
yes.
number, you have it on the list. And
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for you.
Between 1 and 20,
Mhm.
I'm always a big fan of lucky number 13.
Okay. 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, this is a good one to start with, actually.
Okay.
Okay. So number 13 on my list is the live album. There's several live albums I have on this list. One Night Only by Elton John. This was from one of his concerts. It may have been a conglomerate. I have the music. They have the DVD because back in 2000 they didn't have Blu-rays, but it was released middle of November 2000. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen Elton John? Maybe, probably not.
In a concert, no. I mean,
Yeah.
the last time I saw him perform was in the Golden Circle. What is it? The Kingsman Golden Circle.
There's that movie again. We need to keep talking about that. Okay, I need to see. But anyway,
It's my most recent Elton John reference.
yeah. Did you see Rocket Man?
No,
I mean, he wasn't
I
in
haven't.
it.
I haven't yet, but yeah, I mean, that's another one on my list. I think it's actually on my HBO list of things to watch.
It's good too. It's
I like that
Biopic
actor.
style is pretty good. Taron Egerton, yeah, he's
Mm,
good. So, anyways, but I remember because that was the time when I started learning about like the importance of going to concerts. Well, importance to me of what live music was and like the artists really getting themselves out there with their music and kind of um, just getting it out to a different audience. Because at that time I was 17, and certainly I don't think he was playing to my aged people, but we were all into it at that point. And the fact that he'd been playing it for decades, 40 plus years almost at that point, just is amazing that he held up even then and is still going 20 years later.
mm,
And it's really nice because at that time he was adding in a bunch of kind of up and coming artists that he had
that's nice.
on a bunch of his shows. One of them was Mary J. Blige, and they sang, I guess that's why they call it the blues. And it's amazing if you ever have a chance to
I
check
believe
that
I
track
have
out
heard that back in
specifically.
my adult contemporary radio days. So
It's really, really good. Um, and yeah, I mean, I saw him for the first time in concert in 2017 in March. Ma Rizzo took me for my birthday. Thanks, Ma.
what was the venue?
Um, Tingley Coliseum. So my whole thought about that's a large kind of it's not a stadium, but kind of where we do like the rodeos and things like that in town.
Gotcha.
But it's covered, and I think that's why he needs something like that because of his piano and all the instruments and stuff like that. I think he just has it covered up. But he always has come to Tingley to do that, and so yeah, it was awesome. And we had pretty good floor seats, and just we were right in front of where he was with his piano, and just was pretty cool. So
Nice.
yeah, it was
Rock
great.
on.
And I still pull that out, pardon me, from time to time to just check out a good live album. And he's got a lot of energy. He had it then, he has it now, and Rocket Man's a great show, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. So check it out.
Very cool.
There you go.
I have appreciation for live stuff as well because it's especially the technology has been there for a while and the technology has gotten crazier. But to
Hmm.
where going to live show and see them actually do what they, what's coming out of their vocals is actually what they're, can do on the CD. That's just always impressive. And I know in some
Yeah.
cases they can fake that as well. Um,
Right.
but
But like the production value in studio is just vastly
mhm,
different than what it is live. But when
right.
it kind of mimics what you're seeing in a studio album is just awesome. Yeah.
Recently, yeah, because most recently I saw the. It's been a few years, but I saw the Foo Fighters a few years ago. And that was just awesome to see because like they really just know how to rock.
Was
Um,
that when Dave had his broken leg or
yeah,
foot or whatever?
when he
Oh,
was on the
okay.
rock throne,
Okay.
and you mentioned how
Right
Elton
on.
John had introduced a lot of people by opening by opening for him. Sorry, I've had coffee, so I'm like really excited today. Uh, hey everyone! But
Hey.
for that concert, the Foo Fighters had Gary Clark Jr. is a Austin blues guy.
Hmm.
Love his music, and because of that, I started following him.
Yeah.
And so Weezer was another band that was great to hear live. Like, oh yeah, these
You got to see them?
saw them in Oklahoma City with
Ah,
oh, I forget who. I know another great band opened up for them, but I always forget the name because I stink.
well, I'll find out for you. I have a website I look at called setlist.fm,
Okay.
and you can go to basically you can type in like the name of the artist. This is actually how I found out the date of the concert that Ma and I went to. You can put Elton John Albuquerque 2017, and it pops up what day it was, and it shows their set list and their encores and things like
Let's
that.
see. This would have been
It's
like
greatest.
Weezer, OKC, Zoo, 2018, 2017.
Okay, I'll write it down.
It's
I'll look
really
for it.
embarrassing that I can't think of the other band because they're
I'll look for
very
it.
popular and I probably have it on iTunes,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I don't know what song to even look up.
See, like, and I'm glad we're talking about these, albums and concerts and music like that because since this year's been such a mess for concerts and there's, nothing going on,
I was gonna go see Pearl Jam in April.
we were supposed to see Weezer this year
Oh
too. They were
man,
coming here. I know. I was so pumped, and that's one of the 7 concerts that I had on the docket that got canceled. 2 of which have still been just postponed, but the other 7 have been outright canceled, and I'm a little devastated. My wallet's happy, but
yeah, I haven't heard
the
about the Pearl
emotional
Jam
toll.
concert yet, so
Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna go with the cousin, and which because he's the one that introduced me to Pearl Jam, and
Yep.
he was gonna go with his wife, and so I was like, and I was gonna be solo because my wife actually had a conference in New Orleans, so I was just gonna go chill, OKC, stay in an Airbnb downtown. And,
Nice.
and he actually, my cousin's like, I know you're by yourself, but I got you on the floor. So I was like, all right,
You're like done.
I'll rock out with perfect strangers. It's Pearl Jam, yo.
That's okay. I
But
go to concert. I go to so many concerts by myself because then you get, you go to hang out and with like-minded people, and
yeah,
then it doesn't, waste your wallet away too much with folks that don't necessarily want to be there, but are just there
right,
for companionship. And I don't,
right.
it's fine.
Yeah, when I saw Foo Fighters and Weezer, that was with the missus, and that was great because she likes both bands and
Yeah,
she likes to rock.
yeah.
She
She's
would have
a
gone to
good one.
Pearl Jam, but she was, like I said, had that conference. So,
Yeah, cool.
all
Oh
right.
yes, all the things to talk about.
So many things. So let's
How's
see.
Maneater? Have you played Maneater still?
I'm still playing it, but this week I've actually done very little video game playing, which is bizarre for me. I think the
Sorry to
only
hear that.
I know the two games I did play because my same cousin I mentioned earlier were Streets of Rage 4, which
Mhm.
I've had for a while, and really great game because I loved Streets of Rage 1 through 3 growing up. In
Mhm.
fact, Streets of Rage 2, I often would go and rent from the local video rental place and like just keep it multiple days and play in a small black and white TV sometimes. And
Right.
then I upgraded. But I got to play that with my cousin.
They
And
had,
then
they had black and white TVs back when video games were out, or what?
there were color ones as well, but sometimes I only had access to a black and white TV because it's like, Mom, can I get this game? No, we want to watch TV. It's like, well, what if I play in my room on my crappy TV?
Okay, gotcha.
So like, all right, I can play the game.
All right.
So
Yep.
I've seen some things. And Game
Where you
Boy,
sit-
the first
where you
Game
sit
Boy
right in front of
technically,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Game
That
Boy
was black and
technically
white.
was black and white.
I remember those days.
And then let's see what else. And then he and I played. We played some the Call of Duty Warzone. Specifically, we like the Plunder gameplay.
Okay.
Where
Is
open,
that like pirates?
not really. I mean, in a way,
Okay.
you are basically. It is modern warfare. So you're in your that level. It's not like you're at sea or anything.
Yeah.
Giant map. Here's the map. Here's various objectives to do on said map, and
Okay.
various crates to open to give you guns, ammo, and money. And you are just trying to collect as much money as you can. And by doing
Okay.
some of the objectives, you get money. But then it gets real fun because when you become, I think, like in the top 5 or top 10 top earners,
Yeah.
you have a little icon on the map saying, here's a top earner over here. So some people, they may be like pirates and like, let's just go take all of their
Let's-
money.
That makes sense.
And
So you
then
just have a target on your back the
yeah,
entire time.
target on your back. So someone may come and take your money, and there are banks that you can deposit that in, so you can never lose that. But everyone plays differently. But you may have your money taken from you. You can respawn and try to go back right after that person you just got, and it's just like a constant little battle. Or
Interesting.
sometimes you're just lucky and you can avoid everyone, and you're just collecting money by just looting left and right. So it's kind of fun. It's really mindless. I mean, we kind of like it because it's just. I have often said while playing, like, this is like playing GI Joes because we're just
Yeah.
we're gonna go do this, and stuff like that, and defend this
Some
area.
real American hero action.
Yeah, basically,
Cool.
mindless,
Sounds
dumb
good.
fun with cousins.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, my mindless dumb fun is just the same, as per the usual. Anybody want to guess what I played this week?
crossing animals,
Yes, that's
crossing off animals.
right. Yeah, after the first few days of diving and swimming, and that I was so excited about last week. When you get thousands of multiples of the same thing, it gets a little meh. But we ramped up for a fishing tournament, and a couple of other little random things happened this week because my daughter and I both got rid of villagers.
And this is Animal
Off of
Crossing,
our-
in case anyone's confused.
This is Animal Crossing New Horizons, yes. We both decided within about 24 hours of each other that we were going to get rid of a villager of some kind. And because sometimes, like, if you ignore a villager or like hit them with your net repeatedly and like stop talking to them, they'll just ask to leave. They'll just leave because you're just not like, being a very friendly neighbor.
Well, you are
But
abusing them, it sounds like.
I mean, yeah, I mean, those are just the ways to do it. I don't do it that way. But sometimes they have these little like fuzzy like thought bubbles like right above their heads, and you go and talk to them about it, and sometimes they'll say, "Well,
Screw
I'm thinking
you.
about leaving." Yeah, well, no, not that. It's a different kind of exit from the game.
That's the Karen in the town.
It's the it's the idea of, well, I want to explore other islands. I want to see what the world has to offer. Is it okay if I leave? And then you're like, oh, sure, okay, that's fine. Like if you have multiples of the same personality, that kind of thing. So I got rid of Doc, who was one of my lazies. He's a little lazy scientist. So I had an open plot, and then
What was he working on? I mean, science does take time. Did you just take a job away from a hard worker who was...
But he asked to leave.
Oh,
He
okay.
wasn't interested in living on the island anymore, and I said, okay, bye.
He's going to Eureka.
Yeah, probably. That's interesting. We watched that this week, anyways. But so he left because I already have another lazy who I prefer over Doc. Sorry, Doc, no offense. So I had an open plot, and then little one also had a neighbor who asked to leave, and she granted them the availability to leave. And so I promised her that I would give her a couple of, they're called Nook Miles tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that play AC understand, they're basically little like quote unquote airline tickets where you can go to these deserted islands. And if you have a plot open on your island, there will be villagers that pop up and you can go talk to them on each of the islands. And so she and I had kind of worked through this list of there's close to 400 villagers as an option, and you can only have 10 on your island at the max at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave her 6 Nook Miles tickets, which are pretty expensive to acquire because they're all based on achievements that you get in the game. And so you earn these miles to, turn in the funds for certain different things. And the tickets is one of them. So I gave her 6 of them. And good old little one, she's so lucky. Like I could never have this luck in a million years. She goes to the first Nook Miles island, and the second person, the one she wanted the second most out of 400 villagers, was on that island.
Nice.
So I was like, that's great. Give me back my tickets. Of course she didn't, but that's okay.
Give me back. So
because there's...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're okay.
I was going to say, so if you leave, the villagers all have like a purpose, right? They do something for you for your island?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. I mean, for the most part, yeah. They give you reactions and different recipes to craft in the game and different things. So
if you have you were saying a lazy one or one that's not active...
Yeah.
What if you if you didn't grant them permission to leave? Mm-hmm. Would they like start spray painting the island, or
no? The closest to that would probably
trash cans with their vehicles.
No, they don't drive around.
Okay.
First of all, and I'm the only one that wields an axe, so they're not super,
like
vicious.
Okay. We see how this is now.
Yes, they don't do any of that. I'm the one that wields the axe, but no, because they all just have different personalities, and you want to make sure that like the certain ones don't kind of live by each other, because sometimes they'll get into fights and arguments and different stuff. So you have to make sure that the dramas.
So you have more of a master blaster type role in the
you're kind of like the mayor. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Master Blaster runs Animal Crossing town.
Well, that's Tom Nook. He's the one that oversees, but you're kind of the resident rep.
So you are the Tina Turner to the Tom Nook Master Blaster.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you just want to make sure everything's copacetic and like everything's good, and you're giving people presents and things like that. So, yeah. So there are different animals that you can have on the island. For example, I have a rhinoceros. I have a monkey. I have a penguin. Things like that. The most rare animal type in the game is the octopus, and there are 3 of them out of the 400. There are 3, and little one now has all 3 on her island. The third one that she found on that Nook Miles island was the one she was missing, and I could not believe it. So yeah, she had one that moved in like right after she started her island. One came to her campsite and she invited them to the island and they joined. And then the third one was on this Nook Miles island. So fun. She has the trifecta of octopi. Yep.
Nice. Well, well, good.
Yep.
Lucky jerk.
I know. Yeah. And I got an elephant this week.
Ooh, elephants are fun.
I'll talk more about her next time or a couple of times from now, but She's shaped like a teapot. She's so cute.
Okay, I've got the picture now. It's like, how would... Okay.
Yeah, she's really cute. No,
Is
the
the
village.
tail hooped?
Well, the head, so the trunk, it looks like the teapot spout.
Okay.
And then she has a little bauble on the top of her head, and it's kind of has like little, it's white and blue and yellow, and she's so cute.
All right.
I'll send you a picture so
Yeah,
you can
send me a
post it
picture.
up
We'll put
whenever
it
we're
up
talking
next
like
week
them.
when you
But
jabber about it. So.
But the one I'm going to talk about this week, just real briefly, since I've went on about how lucky the child person is Olive, because today is July 12th. And in the game, your villagers have different birthdays, and today is Olive's birthday.
Oh,
she's my little bear.
Olive.
She's my little bear cub. So I went to her birthday party this morning. Like cool, responsible adults do, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you know, you give them presents and that sort of thing. And so she's super cute. She's a normal villager, and she likes to sew things, and she likes to draw. She's very, very cute. So
rock on.
Yeah, that's Olive, and it's her birthday today. So yay!
Yay! You mentioned Eureka. Oh, I mentioned Eureka, and you mentioned that you watched it. Have you ever seen the show before?
We have. Myself and the headless engineer, we have watched it quite a bit. I think the last time we watched it was after little one was born, so it's been several years. But
and Eureka was a show. It was on Sci-Fi Channel. Now it's streaming.
It's so good.
What is it on Prime? I think when I watched it recently, it was on Prime. It's on one of the services.
I think we have the discs, and so we just have it in our own little arsenal.
Yeah, it's a fun show. If you like quirky science, how would you say quirky science stuff?
Yeah, it's almost kind of like, it reminds me a little bit like Twin Peaks, but like funny, like humor in it, and like a little X-Files-y, but like sort of silly and like not slapstick. But...
Average Joe cop is now the sheriff of a town full of scientists, and it's an off-the-grid type of town. And by off-the-grid, I mean you can't find it on a map. It's like Area 51 because they reference Area 51 as being kind of an equivalent town. But yeah,
you can't talk about that.
Things ensue, and the average Joe cop has to use his average Joe wits to solve stuff that the overly intelligent scientist can't do.
And he always figures it out when everybody else is like, I tried all of these things and nothing ever happens. But then he's like, oh, look at that smudge of chocolate on the thing. The kid was there the whole time. Yeah.
And I can't think of his name. He's a great actor, and he's recently I've seen him as the Maytag guy, which is great.
Thomas something, I think. I don't know. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's fun because it's episodic. Like it's good, you know, to kind of keep track of what's going on with the series and everything. But it's, even if you're just catching 1 or 2 episodes at a time, it's fun to watch and interesting because it makes you think. But then it's not, you know, it's a little mindless, so you're just enjoying it as you're going along.
Like you said, like episodic, you can kind of jump in any episode. There's a few times where you kind of need to know a few of the previous stuff.
Who's this and why did this thing blow up? Yeah,
Colin Ferguson is his name.
Oh, okay. So not even close to Thomas. Good for me. Good job.
Well, you know.
That's okay.
Plays Jack Carter. Great guy. Funny. Let's see. We actually started, as far as mindlessness goes, we started rewatching The Office because, you know, fun, mindless, short, realizing that some of the stuff they cover in that show could not happen in today's climate.
That is so true. I find that with Friends too.
And it's crazy how like this show is not that old, but a lot of things have changed. But it's still funny, still great. I remember watching it, and I used to not like Dwight whatsoever, but now I'm like, he's really not bad. Jim is just as bad as Dwight is. Dwight's just off the wall a little bit more. I'm like, okay, but yeah, really enjoying that. And
Jim's a little more mainstream, but Dwight's kind of over here.
Yeah. Let's see. Still watching She-Ra. It's fun, dumb.
Yeah, we're still we're 3 or 4 episodes into Space Force, which is fabulous. Speaking of Steve Carell and shows he's
I've gotten 3 episodes in. The wife won't watch it because she's like, they were so mean to that monkey. I'm like, that monkey was the real murderer. So.
He was the chimpstronaut. Yeah.
The chimpstronaut. Yeah. Malkovich. Yeah, that is a great show. Malkovich is great. Everyone, I love. That's really good. Lisa Kudrow with her. I haven't seen much more of her since the first few episodes. So,
That's just, a perfect segue.
Yeah. Hang on, one more.
Oh, man.
And we
Never
also
mind.
finished up a show on Netflix called Ghoul. It's just a few episodes. It's a good one. It's fun. It's a
Okay.
scary one. Scary. Uh,
Gary.
Scary.
What? Oh, scary.
Scary thriller. I
I
mean,
thought you said Gary. I was like, who's Gary?
it's a Gary film.
I didn't know. I
Rated
was
G
trying
for
to be with you. I was
Gary.
ready. I was there with you.
No, it's
I
like
just didn't know. I just didn't know who Gary was.
no, it's not like it's not something that you should let the child watch for like
Yeah,
another 10 years maybe. But yeah,
I gotcha.
it would be a good if it's still on Netflix. It'd be a good one for like if you were looking for something for the Halloween season, and whatnot.
Okay.
But
Did
not
you
that
enjoy
good.
your hot tea with it as well?
With my
Because you like
goal.
to drink your. Remember, you like to drink your tea with your horror movies.
Oh, I didn't drink any tea this time.
Okay, that's okay.
That's only in the winter.
You will next time.
I will. We were watching
So,
in a different room. So yeah,
yeah,
and Lisa
that's okay.
Kudrow, she's not in Ghoul, but she would have been great.
Yeah, she's funny.
There's your
She's
segue.
funny in Space Force. I mean, if she's only been in like literally for like 10 minutes that I've
Yeah,
seen,
if
from
that.
start to finish,
I really want
she
to know
was.
why she's is where she's at. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I
Yeah,
bet
we
it's
won't say where she
interesting.
is, but we'll just say that she's somewhere, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "What?"
Yeah.
After the first like 20 minutes of the first show, and then she's at this specific place, and you're like, "How
What
did
happened? Yeah.
she get there?" Well, I'm sure we'll find out.
So yeah.
So last week we were talking about friends and different thing, and you'd asked me about Smelly Cat, and speaking of, I see you licking your shirt and everything. It's just perfect. So I did the reconnaissance work, aka looked at Google,
Mhm.
and found out when Smelly Cat first appeared, and that was season 2, episode 6, which is it's entitled "The One with the Baby on the Bus," and that's when at the beginning of the show, because Monica is a chef, and so she cooks like random stuff for the people throughout the show, and one of the things she makes is this what Ross thinks is a key lime pie, but it's actually a kiwi lime pie. And kiwi is something that Ross is like deathly allergic to, and so she has to take him to get a allergy shot or whatever it is. So Chandler and Joey are in charge of watching the baby, which is first of all a horrible idea in and of itself. But they decide to just like take him out somewhere, and they go on one of the city buses, and they start talking to these ladies because like the baby's a chick magnet or something, I
That's
guess
what
is
I
what they
hear.
called it. Yeah, you kind of like put the baby out there, and then the ladies come to them. And long story short, they leave Ben on the bus, and they go after him, and they turn the corner, and there's like 3 identical buses driving down the street, so they don't know where he ends up. And then so the whole point of Smelly Cat is that Phoebe always plays her songs. It does, plays her guitar at Central Park where Rachel works, the coffee house right down where they live. And she gets discovered because of Smelly Cat, and they want to do an album. So they create a album, like a single of it. But it turns out that Phoebe's not the one singing it. It's just her look, but it's another person's voice. So
Oh.
so she
Interesting.
so she comes to this like crazy revelation that this person that they're using the voice for is actually Smelly Cat, because she's like the animal that no one likes and thinks is gross, but they want her look because she has like a better commercial look for the show and for the not the show but for the album and the music video. Yeah, but they're using the Smelly Cat person for
It's the
the
cat.
voice. Yep.
Interesting.
There you go.
And what season episode is that again?
That was season 2, episode 6.
Okay. The one with the baby in the bus.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was
Fun.
the beginning of Smelly Cat.
All right. Well, we're not
yeah,
done. I've
there
been
it is.
educated.
Yep.
Let's see.
One episode at a time. There's only 230 something of them, so
Just
enjoy.
a few. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
They all start with the one.
Yes.
The one about.
Except for there's 3 of them throughout the series that actually don't start with the one. So.
And the fact that you knew that without looking it up.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
The knowledge.
No, it's just an obsessive personality. That's all it is, and I've been
True.
watching it since 1994. So.
If it's a good
speaking
show,
of-
it's a good show. I mean, everyone's different.
Yep.
I started rewatching Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think this is the third or fourth time I've been watching it since it's been streaming. So, and it's one of those like, oh yeah, I remember this episode. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and like some of the earlier ones, and then I know I'll get to the point like, I think I'm gonna skip this episode because I
Yeah.
don't need to see Dr. Crusher having relationships with the ghost that her grandmother was having relationships with. It's
Anyway.
an actual story.
Okay. Yikers.
Anyways,
I was
uh,
thinking about. Oh no, go ahead.
no, you were thinking
Uh,
first.
that that's a first. That link you gave me for the things from the '90s that were all that in a bag of chips.
The pop sugar.
And yes,
Yep.
and and the things that I know without looking them up on the internet was listening to Summer Girls by LFO. So, do you know what LFO stands for? It's a boy
Laughing
band.
fun out loud.
No,
No.
it's the light funky ones. And I told that to a little one and the headless engineer down here, and they both looked at me like I was crazy. And I am a little bit, which is fine, but
Yeah, so this
you know,
link, and I'll try to put it was from Pop Sugar. It's like 40 plus things that made somewhere in the 90s, all that in a bag of chips.
it
It
was
was just
funny.
kind of fun to scroll through. It was like, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
The,
Little one says, "Is that from the olden days?"
yes. Like number four is
Consider
the,
the
okay.
yeah.
The olden times. Let me tell you of when we had super soakers.
Come here, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, number four is the Super Soaker fights. And it's funny because my cousin recently was at his parents' house and found his Super Soaker from the 90s that still had water in it.
That's
It's like,
disgusting.
yeah, it's like, don't spray that. Let's see, the Goosebumps books. I didn't read those. Were you a Goosebumps reader?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because I, tried to copy everything that my older brother did with his friends. And yeah, so
That
those
was
are
the
always
thing.
around. And I loved them. Of course, they scared me because I was a lot younger than they were when they were reading them. But no, it was awesome. I'm going to look into I remember Say Cheese and Die was like my favorite one where they, like took the picture of you and like took your soul
I
into the
remember
picture.
seeing
Do you
that
remember
one.
that?
I remember
Yeah.
seeing the
Yep.
episode of it.
I'll
Yeah.
have to look into a few more of the titles, but I loved Goosebumps when I
Goosebumps
was
is
little.
good. Over Halloween, I mentioned earlier, the wife and I, because we try to do seasonal stuff every now and then. So Halloween a few years ago, and it's been pseudo consistent. I'll build a list of like, let's watch this Halloween episode of this TV show this on this day this week, and then the weekend we'll watch a scary movie, that sort of stuff. But this past Halloween we did. I think we had to go to like YouTube or somewhere to watch It's Afraid of the Dark and some Goosebump episodes
Oh, awesome.
because I had watched Goosebumps on Nickelodeon or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
she watched Are You Afraid of the Dark? And I think I'm getting
That
this.
was Nickelodeon for
Okay,
sure.
so I was watching
Yeah.
Goosebumps on I think probably Fox Kids, which was the
Yeah.
around 3 o'clock. Fox, your local Fox affiliate, would play cartoons. Then, as it went on to like 4 o'clock, you'd get your Goosebumps,
Yes.
and then transition into your news. It's disturbing. I still know this, but
Well, that was like Disney Afternoon with like Gummy Bears and Tailspin, DuckTales, and
Yeah.
things like that. It was exactly the same thing.
and I would jump from like Fox to Disney and like then to like Nick at Night because I could watch Get Smart.
Oh my gosh! Oh, the good old days.
Yeah.
Whew, man.
Back when we had scheduled television,
And
you couldn't just stream it.
sucking down the Sunny D. Yum.
Sunny D, yeah, that's also no 140. I remember these commercials. Again, I'll put this link in the comments section, but lot of stuff.
I know. I saw the thing for the putting your summer look together with the Delia's catalog, and I remember, like every teenage girl in America got that catalog. Like, didn't matter where you were, or what you were doing, and that was always like the pinnacle. And I never once got to order from a Delia's catalog.
Aw. Then they like, are you watching? I Know What You Did Last Summer, or yeah, watching.
Yeah, man, the hook hand guy, the
I
like
didn't.
fisherman guy.
Actually didn't watch the. I don't think I've actually seen one of those.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was.
I need
I mean,
to.
it was like cheesy. It was in that Scream genre, which I love. I loved Scream and Scream 2. Well, there's 4 of them, but I loved those movies. And I was never into scary movies other than Nightmare on Elm Street. That was my other option because I'm not much into horror movies like as a general statement, but those I really enjoyed. And I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, it's just fun because it's, you get to stare at, Freddie Prinze Jr. for 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
that's
So you're not big on horror, but you dug the Elm Street films.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some of the most
'Cause I mean, like,
disturbing scenes have come from the Elm. A bed of blood absorbing a body down into it.
Johnny Depp, man. That's the stuff.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, makes it look classy.
And the classic "You Are What You Eat," where he's taking the claws and it's spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, how fake it is. Like, when you're little, like it doesn't, So.
Well, like my first quote unquote horror film was Tremors. That I was like, I'm going to watch this, and I'm not going to change the channel.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's a little intense because that could be real. I mean, kind of, sort of. Things from underneath the ground, and
No, yeah, I mean, prehistoric thing. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 6 of those movies now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll put that link in the comment because there's some good stuff in there, especially if you're around our age. You were a '90s kid. You're gonna look at this like, oh yeah, I remember that commercial, or a friend had one of those. I remember that song. Fun stuff like that.
Oh yes, good old squirts. Yeah.
I mean,
is it a skirt?
Still
Is
my
there shorts?
sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Don't sing. We don't know.
What and why? I like how on number 30 they've got the wearing denim and shorts, and it's a shot of the Full House cast.
And I was like, why is that not on there? And then the picture to start the whole link is like the summer episode, one of the summer episodes from Saved by the Bell, which that was like big time. Speaking of, the children's programming after school, that was, the Saturday morning NBC thing with the Saved by the Bell and Saved by the Bell and New Class.
A little bit later on, so yeah.
Yeah, and then I know, and I'm looking at number 22, jamming out to Sublime. That was, I mean, that, when we were all a little bit like
doing time.
What would you say, like rock or like emo rock, or what would you consider Sublime? Like Cali rock, I guess, California rock.
Cali rock, or I think at the time they were under that alternative rock, which alternative rock has been renamed. Is a whole bunch of different things. It seems.
And we were all kids at that point, just because everybody loved Sublime, and you got the little parental advisory sticker on the side, and. You try to like cover it up so your parents don't see it when you bring it home from. I
wasn't rebellious at the time, so I unfortunately. And then I'd say one that really applies to me is number 25, watching The Sandlot. I watched.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was on a lot. I mean, I was never that big into baseball, but
yeah.
It was on all the time. It was kind of funny. And my mom's like, I don't like you watching that because they use such harsh language. In the back of my head, I'm like, you have not seen me on the playground. So,
and so who were you?
Oh, I was probably the nerdy kid. I mean, I was weird because I was a big nerdy kid. So it's one of those, you can mess with me, but if I really needed to pull my weight, I would, but I never did because I was more nerdy. Yeah, probably just a blend of them all. I wasn't the loudmouth, I know that much. So yeah, I'll put that link in there because that was just kind of fun to look at.
Stashing your lip smackers in your fanny pack. It's frightening to me looking through this list how many of these things are actually applicable today too. But they don't call them fanny packs anymore. What do they call them? Like waist bags, or that sounds like something a hospital would use.
Waist bags.
But I don't know what they call them. They don't call them fanny packs anymore, but kids are totally wearing them now. Like I was, looking through the list, and a little one was looking at it, and she said, I just tie-dyed one of my shirts this week. It's like, okay, this still checks out. And then like Fuller House is on Netflix, which, they just finished their 5th season. And of course I watched all of those episodes, and it's like, yes, all these things. But
so fun stuff on there.
Mad Libs.
So many.
Did you ever do Mad Libs?
Yeah. Every now and then. I don't think I ever owned any, but I had some. So
yeah, there's always those ones where you just find the like most vulgar, the most vulgar kids word you can come up with and change it to ing or er, ed, or turn it into an adjective, and then it's just an entire Mad Lib full of that word.
Again,
so,
those recess, the playgrounds. That's where the language came out. But yeah, kind of speaking of summer stuff, like today I was like, I have nothing really to talk about, so I just kind of grabbed some books.
You always have something to talk about.
I know, you do. It'll come natural, but here's a few books, and it's funny, all of the books except for one I've chose have been turned into a movie. The book
I
is
see Shortwell.
100 times better on all these. So
Yeah.
so first one, Meg.
Stay in school, kids. Read.
Yeah.
Don't just watch the movie.
Steve Alten. The movie was entertaining, but I read the book first. Much better.
It's like a dinosaur shark.
Yeah,
right?
it's a what is it called?
Megalodon.
Yeah, Megalodon.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. And this version of it, it kind of there's like this is the revised version, and it does a little bit of a prequel of where the Megalodon is, and it takes down a T-Rex, and then it kind of goes into modern times. But really good summer read, especially if you are a water lover, shark lover. If you're a shark lover, definitely check this one out.
Got it.
Another favorite of mine, and I did this one a lot, but I am a big fan of Michael Crichton. Again, they butchered this movie so bad, and I don't know if these are reversed or not. But this says timeline.
I don't know because
it's reversed on my end.
The headless engineer loves him as well, and I'm not sure I've even seen that in our house. So I have to look into that.
This is a good book. Deals with time travel and knights and all that fun stuff. Again, the movie was horrible.
He's bound to have that then, because Back to the Future, we could go and we'll talk about that at some point in some episode, but that we are a Back to the Future family for sure, and he loves like time travel and things like that. So
we like it too, but the wife and I can't discuss it because we'll start arguing. We're such
because you're trying to figure out the best method of transportation, TARDIS versus DeLorean, or
no,
what?
not transportation. We'll get it when we have a time travel episode. We'll get into it. Another book that was turned into a movie. It's another Michael Crichton book. This was actually I read this in 6th grade. The end of the summer. It was my first adult book because I was reading a lot of young adult books at the time. I was reading a lot of Christian fiction at the time, of like archaeology and but there's a Christian underlining type stuff.
Yeah.
But really like Sphere, good psychological type book. I enjoyed it. The movie was crap. Again, it was one of those movies like great cast, horrible script. So
gotcha. Fair enough.
And then this last one I'm currently listening to because I do a lot of books with Audible. But I love this author because of the Dresden.
How does that work
series.
for you? I'm curious about Audible.
How do you mean? I was like how does it work?
Is it? Do you enjoy it? Do you like it better just like reading the type? Like how is it for you?
I like reading, but I also instead of listening to a podcast, which we'll talk about here in a bit, or music, but like on my lunch break or whatnot, I'll just put on a book and listen to it. Or if I'm traveling, it's really great. And Audible makes it really easy. They have different ways for you. You can either just buy the book, you be like a monthly subscriber, you get a free book a month type stuff. But I've enjoyed it. The fun thing is finding a book that's interesting, and finding a narrator that keeps it interesting as well. That's the fun part. But they give samples. But this is the AERONAUTS WINDLASS by Jim Butcher. This is he has like 3 different series. I'm a big fan of his Dresden Files series. Okay. I'm just trying this one because I wanted to see what else he's got. This is more steampunkish. Yeah. As far as it's
kind of
blimps, a lot of crystals and powers coming from that. I'm enjoying my favorite thing about this book is how they use cats, because the cats talk in cat and only certain people can understand cat, but it's kind of a weird, unique way of using them, whatnot. And the way he writes them, like I could see my cat doing that. But this is the Cinder Spire series, the AERONAUTS WINDLASS book 1. It's not bad. I don't know if I'll continue on to book 2 once I'm done with it, because I really enjoyed the Dresden series. But that's kind of some of my recommendations of
that's good.
What
so
read and listen.
We went back to Hamilton this past week because I watched it one time and knew I needed to watch it again, and I forced Ma Rizzo to come over, and I said, let's just watch the first couple of numbers. Let's just watch the first 15 minutes. And of course, 3 hours later, she's sitting on my couch, heaving, sobbing over how, amazing and wonderful the show is and everything. So we, it was one of those where she's so funny about this because she likes music like I do when it comes to movies and like how the soundtrack kind of plays into the narrative of the story. But of course, with Hamilton, the soundtrack is the story because there are no speaking lines between the songs. It's just song to song, song to song. Yes, basically. And so we split the difference because there's of course like the original cast recording of the CD, and then there's a newer, well, it's not newer because it came out 3 years ago, but it's the mixtape, and it's like contemporary artists that are doing the songs from the show. Yeah, like the Roots does one. Busta Rhymes is in one of the songs, these different ones. And so we kind of split the difference, and we purchased the original cast recording and she purchased the mixtape, and then we'll just share them. But
nice. It's good.
It's so much like, it's fun. And, I gushed about it last week, and I'll say it again, but excellent narrative and just a fantastic stage show. And being able to hear the songs after you watch it is just like, it gives you so much more of an appreciation.
Cool.
Or how genius the whole setup was, and what a good job Lin-Manuel Miranda did with the production and the songwriting, and kind of hearing a little bit of his like background into it is great. So
I do want to see it. I was actually, before coronavirus kicked in, I was actually looking at various Broadway shows that were going to be within the 4-hour radius of where I live, and Hamilton was one of them. And I was like, well, it's supposed to be coming out in it's going to be in Albuquerque at some point in time. It's also going to be in Denver, but
it's supposed to be next week. Not next week. I wish. Wishful thinking. Next year. Okay.
I can still make it.
I think. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so, if we get the plus before then, probably check it out. But I do want to see that on stage because.
Oh yeah.
Broadway,
some people say like, I can't believe you put out a Broadway show on like screen where it's like streaming, but to be honest with like, and I don't know, I can't speak for other people of course, but that just makes me want to spend the money to see it live, like just
I like it when it's actually it's just good video work, good audio recording, but it's the stage stuff, and that's what Hamilton is, right? It's
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, you can see it, and it basically, I mean, it's this very. It looks very minuscule from where you're standing. There's this little center round in the middle of it where it actually turns when people are on it, and they're singing and performing, and it's turning. And then there's a couple of little scaffolding kind of setups on the side, but that's it. That's the entire set. See, yeah, it's awesome.
That sounds great because what's the play and all that jazz? Chicago?
Yeah.
Maybe?
That's Chicago.
We saw that here, that Broadway, and it was great because it was such a small set. I don't think they even changed the set one time. In fact, they kept most of the singers and other actors on stage when they weren't even doing. But how you were, I was able to like just go into like, oh yeah, they're in the courtroom, they're in the jail, they're at the house now.
Right.
The beauty of the theater.
And that's kind of how Hamilton was too, because in the first act, a couple of the players, like for example, Daveed Diggs, he plays Lafayette in the first act, but he's Thomas Jefferson in the second act, and he just, I mean, it's amazing because it's the same person, but I mean, he just does a phenomenal job of kind of separating them out, because the Lafayette's not in the second act and Thomas Jefferson's not the first one, so they split it up. And I think it was, and I should look this up, but there were not that many cast members, including ensemble, but it was amazing how they just used them for different parts and how effective they were in every single one of their roles. It was just great. So.
Rock on.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Really cool. I look forward to seeing it in multiple formats, multiple mediums.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Let's see. Well, what else we got here? We jabbered about stuff real quick. I know we're recording a podcast. I keep
sipping my tea.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Let's do your tea. So I don't forget your tea. What's your tea, yo?
Yes. So I promised you a dessert scented black tea last week, and I will deliver today. This is a specialty blend that we have over at the place they work called Second Star to the Right. It's actually a feature tea with the theme that we have going on currently, and it is a scented black tea with marshmallow, caramel, toffee, chocolate, and almond.
Wow.
So it's really, really good. Yeah, it's called Second Star to the Right.
So how do they get the flavor? How do they get the flavor in the
the-
tea? How do they get the
that's the
juice
secret.
in the Starburst?
We can't talk about it. That's the secret.
Well,
Yeah, it's just flavorings and certain things that they may add in, and it actually sparkles in the teacup because there's pixie dust in it. Yes, yes, it does.
may
Indeed.
experience an LSD-like trip, but you'll love the flavor.
It's pretty good, yeah. And this is one of those again. I'm starting to understand, becoming more of a connoisseur that a lot of these teas don't need anything to adorn, and when they're made really well.
Mhm.
So this is just really good on its own because it has a lot of that again sweetness in it just on its own, and
Interesting.
very tasty.
I'd
Yep.
never. Can you actually taste the different flavors? Because like I'll drink a wine and it'll be like it's got accents of hickory and chocolate, and I don't know why I would have hickory in a wine, but I can never taste. I just taste wine. Okay, rock on.
Yeah, you absolutely should be able to, and that's kind of one of the things with the steeping of the tea is balancing those flavors. Like we have different ones with like for example, the one I'm thinking off the top of my head has raspberry and rose, where like the raspberry is kind of that main like flavor in the black tea, but then you kind of get the finishing with the rose, that little floral note, which is good, but you want it balanced so it's not just on one side or heavy on the other, because then it just doesn't make for a very delightful tea drinking experience.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The
Green.
the place they work.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the teas? Are the teas all? Do y'all do anything with the teas to make them yourselves, or is like, here is this batch of this flavor, or?
Well, I mean, we have teas from different places that we get them. Of course, not like we grow. It would be cool if we could just grow the leaves and then have the teas from there, but that's not New Mexico is not exactly a tea.
What?
Climate.
There's plenty of dirt.
But and we could talk about that at another time too. But yeah, I mean, we get the different teas from different areas and kind of just make them our own.
And perfect how to brew them and whatnot, and
yeah. So, we have a few tea masters at the tea room that we consider just the folks that have studied and then have steeped basically all of the teas. It's 80 plus teas to perfection, and then we post their little picture and name in there's a little window box, and I became one of those at the end of earlier this year.
You're a part of the
this
Tea
whole
Masters Guild?
This whole year is a blur. Yeah. So it's kind of fun because
it was
then
January
I can
yesterday. So
it was one of the two. I can't really remember honestly, but yeah. So it's fun because then I can actually speak about them and share them with our guests and be able to be knowledgeable about what we're serving and how to enjoy it and everything, which is great. So.
Rock on. That's great. That's what people want when they go to a place like that too. I mean, they either know what they want or they need a recommendation. So awesome. Well,
Yes,
that's your tea. I know we're a podcast, but are there any other podcasts that you kind of enjoy listening to? You want to tell others about that are kind of off the wall? I've got kind of one for sure, and then another one that's silly. So, what you recommend?
I'll say you can go first, but
we'll just bounce back and forth. So
that's okay.
One that it's great to talk about because my wife heard about it, and we listened to it. Usually around dinner time, not every night. But it's called My Dad Wrote a Porno.
I knew you were going to I knew you were going to talk about that one. Okay. Anyways.
It's a group of three. One of the, I don't guess he's the main guy, but one of them, his father wrote a porno. So they're actually reading it and then commenting on it because it's poorly written and it's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's really fun. It's MST3K style of a porn book. And we're on season 2 because apparently the father wrote a sequel to the book.
Of course he did.
And so it's great to like hear the son just kind of read, and they're all British, so it just sounds amazing. Period. Okay. But hear them read through it, comment on it, and just joke about it. It's like, are they harassing that? That's a fun one. So yeah, that is My Dad Wrote a Porno. I don't know if it's still new episodes because I think we're still listening to like stuff that came out in 2016, but the joy of the internet. So that's my first recommendation.
The one that I have that the headless engineer and I have been really into is called Fake Doctors, Real Friends. And it's Zach Braff and Donald Faison, the leads from Scrubs. And so basically they go through every episode and they kind of comment on what was going on, and they'll generally have like a guest star from the show. And so you're going through the episodes, and the podcast is based on like one episode at a time. And so what he and I have done is we watch the episode and then we listen to the podcast, and it's great because you can tell like they're buddies. So they're just, chit-chatting and laughing and kind of reminiscing about what was going on in life and with the show and, all the production and whatnot. But then they're kind of doing their anecdotal, sort of stories about what was going on like during the show and everything. And it's great just because they're just laughing and having a good time. And you can tell that they loved doing what they were doing on the show, and it really, showed through in the show itself, Scrubs, and that they're still really close now, and it's great. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I know this is my next one, but there is a podcast similar to that from The Office, and it's Jenna Fisher and the blonde
Angela Kinsey.
Yes, they have and it's the same thing, but it's talking about this episode of The Office, what was going on and stuff like that. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard her on recently. I'm like, that would sound fun, especially now watching it, because Angela's still very stuck up on the show, but it's like, she's not as bad as I thought. Maybe I've been in the workplace too long. I don't know.
That's okay. But just more relating to her when you're doing the office type things.
Yeah.
And we watched her. Of course. We watched her on a show again on the Plus called Be Our Chef, and it's a family cooking show because the little one is really into Food Network and cooking shows and things like that. And so, of course, a cooking show on the Plus is something she was totally into. And so they're the families are cooking together. It's like the parental figures plus the children that are working together to cook these things based upon a certain character or movie, and then they like have this kind of round robin style, and then whoever wins the whole thing wins like a Disney cruise or something like that. So
nice.
Yeah, so it's been pretty fun. But that's my Angela Kinsey. Most recently, she hosts.
My most recent thing I saw, as far as other than The Office, was Never Have I Ever on Netflix.
Okay, tell me about that one again.
That is written by, what is her name? Another person from The Office, Mindy Kaling.
Okay.
It's
Kaling,
written by her. It's really good. I'll talk about it another time. We'll talk about that next week.
Fine.
It's a good show. It was one of those I didn't think I would like, but my wife was watching it, and I kept walking the room and smiling. So she's like, "You need to watch episode 1." So coming of age, teen girl, nothing I can relate to, but it was funny.
Sounds just like you.
I know. It's my life story.
Okay. Cool. Can't wait to hear about it.
Next week. My last podcast I recommend, because I listened to a lot of them, but one that's really off the wall, but kind of fun if you're into serial killers, cultists, assassinations. It's The Last Podcast on the Left. It's on Spotify, and they're very crude about, they talk about serial killers, cults, they have a topic or whatnot. They're very crude about how they discuss things. I mean, think of like if Kevin Smith was talking about something serious with Jay Muse. Off the wall, very blunt, whatnot. Along those lines, but these guys have done their research, and like, I'm behind, but they recently did a 5-part series about the JFK assassination.
Okay.
Each episode about an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Interesting.
And so, if you dig that kind of stuff, I mean, they talked about Manson. They've talked about, if it's happened, if it has conspiracy theories around it, they kind of approach it from all angles. Of like, this is what this person wrote about it. Here's the conspiracy theories episode and whatnot.
Sure.
So it's kind of fun to listen to. It's a different approach. So
I just like that you giggle every time you're like, serial killers.
John Wayne Gacy. Which they do talk about John Wayne Gacy. But they, my first episode I listened to was Heaven's Gate. Speaking of the 90s. So,
okay.
Remember them?
Was that Waco?
No, Heaven. They do talk
No.
about Waco as well, but
Okay.
Heaven's Gate was
Okay.
the hey, look, it's Hale-Bopp Comet. That's our spaceship out of here.
Oh goodness.
Back in the 90s, as we
That
were.
sounds like okay.
So they'll talk about that. They
Interesting.
do talk about the Waco thing. So
Mhm.
it's pretty interesting. They, like I said, it can be crude at times, but I find it quite entertaining. So,
All right, fair enough.
all right.
That's cool.
You got any other pods other than, of course, the other fine ones here on Musing with Mick Willie Network?
I know I was gonna say just this one's always good. I know my phone is definitely a fan of this show because when we were talking about the tea, when we were spilling the tea last week, my phone decided to take a good listen and decide to offer me options for electric kettles. So it's good to know at least somebody's listening, even if it is just my phone. So
If you are still shocked that your phone is listening to you these days, if you don't want it to listen to you, turn off the microphone for any social media app you have. Or app
I don't know
that
what you're
you have.
talking about.
I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
Yeah.
In the 90s, we used to be worried about this sort of thing. Now it's every day. Anyway.
Yes.
Don't
talk to strangers and don't get into strangers' cars. Here, hi, try Uber. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
try Uber.
Thanks. All right, good.
Have a stranger bring food to your house.
Sounds
But
good.
there could be razor blades in that candy.
All right.
One final question. Who does the cooking in your house? Is it you or the headless engineer? Or
It's
like,
a
is it
little bit of
split? What's the
both.
averages?
Yeah, I would say because he's an excellent cook. We like to find recipes and do different things like that, but every so often I'll come up with something and just kind of do, like a couple of dinners a week. He'll do a couple of dinners a week. We'll do leftovers, that kind of thing. So we split it up. He's really good with he does really good with breakfast though.
Nice.
Like on weekends, that kind of thing. He'll do like a breakfast or brunch, but we kind of split it up. I'd say he's probably a better cook, but I'm probably a better baker. So, yeah. But
Nice. I could see that.
there's
Baking
always
is-
my. Go ahead.
I was going to say, baking is very straightforward. If you want it done right, follow these instructions
Yeah,
for the most part.
it's true. Yeah, my bestie who lives in Kansas, she and I have been sharing recipes throughout this whole COVID quarantine thing, and we're putting together a quote COVID cookbook of all of those recipes.
Nice.
Just from like being able to like share with our family and being able to be home a little bit more with the kiddos and that sort of thing. So that's been kind of fun. But maybe I'll share a recipe or two next week. So
Rock on, yeah.
Yeah. be great.
The only thing I've done, because I'm the main cook in the house. The wife is paranoid that she will poison us, even though she does really well. And I think she would be great at baking because she's very much follow these instructions, this amount. But
Yeah,
it's
she has to
funny
keep
'cause-
you in line, so I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's funny. She's like, I don't know what half this stuff is. I'm like, well, that's why we'll Google it, go to the store and get it from there. But this during the whole COVID thing, as you mentioned, we've been in this house for 11 years. I've been saying I'm going to buy a grill for the past 11 summers.
11 years? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I finally actually bought a grill, so I've been doing a lot of grilling, which has been fun. Today, I'm actually
Nice.
going to do my first attempt of grilling some baby back ribs
Ooh,
on a
sounds
propane
good.
grill. I've
Yeah.
perfected the technique using an oven for the past multiple
Mm-hmm.
years, but now I kind of want to use the propane, try to use some smoke pellets and see what happens and not burst anything into flames, but we'll see.
Good luck.
So yeah,
Let me know how it goes and how delicious they are.
I will.
Awesome.
And that's kind of all the notes. Anything else in your world you want to just bring up, jabber about?
I do have another small anecdote, just talking about people that listen to our show. I was thinking about Ma Rizzo as we were preparing for this because, you know and love Ma Rizzo. You've known her since we were, in college, and she loves you just the same. And earlier this week, actually the night we watched Hamilton, she'd come over and we were having dinner and whatnot. And I asked Ryan if he had time to just pop in and say, hey, just because she hasn't really seen him recently. And so he had some things going on that night. So he just did a quick little video message for her and sent it to me. And so I was like, oh, here, Mom, let me show you this. And I popped it up on my phone and he starts talking and she starts talking back to him. And it's just,
Because I know how to talk to a crowd.
I just love her so much. Like, I guess, just very much felt like you were in the room, I suppose. But,
That's adorable. That's
it's just very sweet. And she was so excited to see you, even if it was on video. So I just had to put that out there because she is an avid listener of the show and had to give her a quick shout out because it's just so sweet. She just loves you so much. So,
yeah, she's always been very, very awesome, very kind to me. It's funny. One of my memories I associate with her is actually I think you were pregnant with the wee one and she was traveling with you, and you stopped by the house, and she was sitting on the couch and she was trying to get one of my cats, Harley, to come over to her because she's like, oh, her face is just so pretty, and Harley was just kind of. So I just have this kind of visual of them, like, Ma Rizzo trying to get her over there, but Harley doing that thing. It's like, but yeah, so
yeah, I think I remember that. That was like March or April of 2012 ish.
It's been a bit, but I was like, oh yeah, so great memories.
So one of these days we'll get you all on this to be able to actually talk to one another. But
I plan to travel. I mean, we plan to travel in Albuquerque because I have a brother that lives where you are, so
I know. And we even moved to that side of town. So,
oh yeah,
we're actually that place we went to El Pollo, or what was it called? No, what was the name on Breaking Bad? What was the name of that chicken place? Yeah, Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yes, the Chicken Brothers.
Yeah, Twisters. So Twisters is what that actually is in real Albuquerque life, and we met there for lunch that one time you came in. And was that when we went and saw Bruce?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll talk about that again. Yeah. We need to get to that at some point.
A fun thing about your town, we talked about this 1 or 2 episodes ago about the whole Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul connection.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the El Camino movie, the post Breaking Bad movie, there's the scene, which I won't spoil it if anyone's seen, because it's a great scene, but it happens at the Al Cafe, which is not far from my brother's house.
We've been there too. Yeah, we've been there too.
I ate there with you and the headless engineer and the wife. And the wife and I, we went last time we ate my brother's house because my brother lives like 2 blocks away. But I'm like, I was watching that scene. It's like, we've been there. I don't think that salad bar exists. So
nope.
I was like, there's no salad bar in that place.
I don't believe so. Yeah, but
yeah, fun little. I love. Yeah, that's one thing I love about that town. It's just like, I used to hate Albuquerque just because I had to deliver plants there a lot, and I got stuck there twice.
A floral delivery person. Yes, I remember that.
And I got stuck there twice because of, blizzards.
Yep.
Or outside of Albuquerque. But with my brother there, you there, I'm like, okay. And since we've spent some time in Santa Fe, which is just north of there, there's a great culture and arts around that area, and I really did.
Did you all go with us to Meow Wolf?
No, I haven't been. I think my wife has been.
When everything gets back to normal in however many years or months or whatever, when you come back through, we'll do a day in Santa Fe and head to Meow Wolf, because that is little one's favorite place on the planet besides being at Isotopes Park.
It looks like trippy fun,
and you would love it. You would be right at home there.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it looks very Alice in Wonderlandy, and that's how my brain works. So
yeah, you walk into a house, crawl through their fireplace, and end up in an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
So yeah, good times, as you do.
Every Tuesday.
Or you can slide down the washing machine, or no, I guess it's the dryer. You can slide down the dryer into another one, or you can walk through the fridge.
That sounds fun. Yeah, it's
great.
I like playgrounds that adults can play on, because
that's pretty much what it is.
And there's a place that's in downtown Vegas that was like that the wife and I discovered, and like, this is great, because they're like, it was like a little shopping center, but it had like this giant tree house that you could wander around in.
Where was this? Because I've only been to downtown Vegas once, and I loved it.
It's like downtown Vegas. Okay. I don't know what direction. Let's say like.
What hotel was it by?
It wasn't. It was off. It was like 3 blocks down. But if we were just kind of wandering past the strip, and we saw flames bursting out of something, like, let's walk towards it.
Of course you did.
And it was a giant Mantis metal structure that some dude was inside playing sound bites and doing like a pyro flame shooting out of it, and it's right next to this little shopping center / park.
Right on.
And at the time, it's like, it's after 10 o'clock, 21 and up.
Nice.
And you go in, and it's just just another other adults playing in a treehouse, and there's like an ice cream shop there nearby and whatnot. So
of course.
So yeah.
Yeah, That sounds like fun. Yeah,
It was.
we can talk. I have numerous Vegas stories, not for right now, but later. And yeah, well, we went downtown one time and ended up we were going down for like a show downtown, not a concert or anything like that. But we ended up at an outdoor concert, which was two different bands that were like 70s and 80s rock cover bands. Which of course I was just like, I found I found my place. Yeah.
Nice.
Had the the 3 foot long margarita and listening to the old school rock and pop and stuff. It was great. So
it's a fun town to wander.
Oh
when
yes,
chaos is not ensuing.
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess we'll stop jabbering for now.
Okay.
We'll do this again next week. Yeah. Any notes? Anything? I'll try to put in the comments for those of you listening, watching. And yes, still don't have anything to contact us by. I guess you could leave comments over somewhere.
Well, YouTube too, because that's also
YouTube.
up after we did that last week, and we're figuring out the audio versus video and how that all works together to make sure it is the best, opportunity for consumption, whether you're enjoying, via video or just audio.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Because I was thinking today, it's like I have watched podcasts that are videos as well, but I'm usually just have the video on in the background and I'm just listening to it. So
Right.
we'll figure something out.
Cool.
All right. Well, Rizzo, you have a good week.
You as well. Good to see you.
Yeah. So goodbye. Good night. I forget how I used to end this show. I was trying to think of that. So
Awkward thumbs up.
yeah, we'll just do awkward thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hang on, let me use my thumb so I can stop it over here. And I don't know what button to hit, so we'll just cut it here.